What's up, guys? It's Andy Boxing, and yesterday I actually found out that Anthony Joshua is fighting Kubrat Pulev on June 20th in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the UK. This fight will likely be on DAZN, possibly ESPN Plus, but it seems like this fight will be on DAZN based on it being Anthony Joshua, and he's a Eddie Hearn fighter, Matchroom, as most people know. But Kubrat Pulev, he's 28-1, 14 by knockout. His only defeat was by KO against Vladimir Klitschko about 5 years ago, I think the fight was. It was in either 2015 or 2016 on HBO, back when HBO had Klitschko and boxing. And Kubrat Pulev was dropped 3 times in that fight, then being finished in the 5th. And I believe that fight he was only 20-0 when he was coming into it. So he's got 8 wins after it, and he hasn't lost since. And I don't believe he's got a lot of knockouts since then. His only other knockout, I believe, would be against Bogdan, because when he came into that fight, I believe he was 20-0 with like 13 knockouts or 12 knockouts, something like that. But against Bogdan, he did have some trouble when he got cut in the earlier rounds. Dinu feinted him with the jab and then landed his huge straight, which sent Pulev back. Pulev seemingly was hurt, but then his cut was just way worse. It was scissoring. It was going one direction and the other direction, and Kubrat Pulev had blood all over him that fight, but then he later finished the job, getting a TKO victory. But most people do think it was behind the head, as Dinu was ducking down, but Pulev was just throwing just wild punches, and he hit Dinu on the back of the head about 7 times until he dropped him, hitting him on the back of the head. But in his last fight, he had a unanimous decision win over Rydell Booker, which really was a very boring fight. After watching 5 rounds, I was very bored with it, and I just tuned off. Because Pulev, I expected to just get a knockout victory over Booker, who's 40 years old and a journeyman. And Pulev just, he didn't really box well. He didn't look great in that fight, possibly showing old age for Pulev, as he is about 39 years old. But I'm not sure if Pulev is still top class, but in my top 15 heavyweight video, I put him in there. But we'll just see how he does against Joshua, who's a top heavyweight, who I ranked in the top 5 in there. But his opponent, Anthony Joshua, he's the 2-time heavyweight world champion. Well, 2-time unified heavyweight world champion. He's from England, 23-1, 21 by knockout. His only defeat, as most people know, in a huge upset, was against Andy Ruiz Jr. He came in a little too muscular for that fight. Came in a little cocky, thinking he'd knock out Ruiz. But then Ruiz, with his fast hands, dropped Joshua 3 times. And then Ruiz was declared the winner by knockout in round 7. But then about 5 months later, on December 7th, Joshua then rematched Ruiz in Saudi Arabia, getting the unanimous decision victory. He won almost every round. Joshua boxed pretty well. I'm not sure if we're going to see this Joshua ever again. The Joshua where he'd knock guys out and come in there, land his huge straights, hooks, and finish well. Because ever since he was sort of exposed with his chin against Ruiz, so far he's fought a completely different way. We usually see Joshua not on his feet, usually jabbing, waiting to land his straight. But in the Ruiz fight, he would land a 1-2, back up, wait for Ruiz to come in, land a 1-2 again. So he was more tentative in that fight. But we'll just see how he does against Pulev. But overall, I'm pretty sure this will be an easy fight for Joshua. He'll probably stop Pulev, but we'll see how fight week goes on, or press events and all that, the weigh-in. We'll see how the fighters look and what they say. But that's really it. I'm going to be boxing, and I'll see you guys later.